Noe Ponti is the fastest butterfly swimmer the world has ever seen, even faster than the great Michael Phelps and even Caleb Dressel. But how is he swimming so fast, and what makes him so special? What is he doing out of the water that allows him to swim like a dolphin underwater? At the last World Championships, he won the 50 butterfly, 100 butterfly, and the 100 IM. Let's go ahead and break down his stroke and see what he's doing so well under the water and over the water. He has been on fire at the end of 2024. After the Paris Olympics, he is on a roll, and you can see him dominating the field underwater. Look at the range of motion he has. We're going to talk about his underwater dolphin kick. He has incredible flexibility, and he has so much power kicking in both directions. He also does a few things in the butterfly stroke that the great Michael Phelps and Caleb Dressel do not do, and at least in a 25-meter pool, he is swimming way faster. I mean, when we compare the great Michael Phelps and Caleb Dressel, yes, they both went 49 seconds in the 100 butterfly long course, but in a short course pool, this guy is way more explosive, way more pop, and he's breathing every single stroke. Look at his head position. I don't know if you guys are paying attention to this, but the great Michael Phelps he took a breath every stroke except for the breakout. And you see Noe Ponti, he's keeping his head, look at his eyes. His head is low to the surface, chin right above the surface of the water. Caleb Dressel, especially in a short course pool, yards and meters, he was not taking as many breaths. Michael Phelps had a much longer stroke. Noe Ponti here from Switzerland, he's got a much higher tempo, and he's breathing every single stroke, including the breakout stroke off of the underwater dolphin kick. Now at the end, I want to talk about why his underwater dolphin kick is superior to anyone else, but just look at the head position. There's the chin, there's the surface level of the water, and even though the head is above the water, he's able to keep his core engaged, and that is what allows him to ride really high in the water. This is a huge skill. It's really, really important that you guys master this. Clean over the water. He's got a lot of speed. This race that we're watching right here was from the World Championships. Look at him push the underwater right there. And you can see in this race specifically, he was about 48 seconds in the 100 butterfly. His world record, 47.71. This is the race we're going to watch right now. This is the 47.7 race, 100 butterfly. Look at him push that underwater mark right there. What a freight train. He's a beast. Oh, sorry guys, I circled the wrong swimmer. We're gonna go back and I wanna make sure I'm showing you guys the right person. We're gonna go back. Oh, there it is. So he's right there in that red cap. He's from Switzerland. The Swiss should be very proud of him. Look at that underwater. There's that breakout. You blink and you miss him. Look at how much speed. Takes 6 strokes. Really squeezes in those strokes, because if you don't do that, what's going to happen is you're going to be long, and in a sprint race, look at that second underwater. He doesn't count his dolphin kicks. This is very interesting. He uses his eyes to sight the bottom of the pool. There's a mark at 15 meters. A lot of top swimmers will count their strokes, but he does not. Right there, it looks like he could have had one more dolphin kick. So let's see what he can do in the future. Maybe there's more time to be dropped. And let's look at the final underwater. This is what separates the boys from the men. And look at him crank it. Again, he has probably 1 or 2 more dolphin kicks in that. He's able to maintain his speed. He's hurting, he's finishing strong, and he squeezes in that last stroke. Let's take a look at his underwater dolphin kick, because I want you guys to see just how consistent he is underwater. This is his body right now, and you can see how streamlined he is. This is the name of the game in swimming. You have to be streamlined. All of these guys, from the fingertips all the way through the toes, you want your body as narrow as possible. And for Noe Ponti, he's actually a really skinny guy relative to other top sprinters. And you look at a 50 butterfly or a 50 freestyle, I mean, these guys are massive. You know, if you look at a really in shape person, they're not gonna look as jacked as one of these guys, because they're so strong and so lean. And Noe Ponti is able to maintain a really narrow frame. Yes, he's doing training out of the water. We'll talk about that. But look at the streamline. That is probably the most important thing here. And you can see where the dolphin kick, it's actually coming from the core. You know, a lot of times we talk about the dolphin kick, but it's really a dolphin undulation. It's a movement that comes from your entire body. If you compare him to like a Caleb Dressel or even Jordan Crooks, these guys actually have a much larger dolphin kick. Their amplitude is much, much bigger. And you can actually see that on some of these swimmers. You can see, like, for example, This guy right here is actually sort of at his side. A little bit dolphin kick size, a little bit bigger over there. You can see his eyes are looking down. Look at how straight his fingertips are pointing. I mean, he's literally like an arrow. Look at the ankle flexibility right there. Even though, you know, this is obviously really far away, you can see just how flexible his ankles are. His body is really in flow state underwater to really maximize the power per kick. And I mean, all of these guys are world class. He's just able to do it a little bit longer than all of them, because you're faster underwater than over water, assuming you can maintain your power and mechanics. So, you know, all of these guys are kicking in both directions. They're kicking up and down. He's not unique in that. What makes him unique is how he's able to do this consistently and more efficiently than everyone else. I mean, there are certainly faster dolphin kickers than him in a 15-meter sprint. You know, you look at a Flo Manadou, even Caleb Dressel, Jordan Crooks. These guys probably have more absolute speed to 15 meters, but he's creating separation beyond 15 meters. We're talking a 50-meter race, a 100-meter race at 75. The fourth 25 off the push, that's where the separation is happening for him. And you can see where everyone is breaking out. He is right there breaking out at the 15 meters and just maintaining speed. This is when he went to 21.3, which is mind-blowing to go 21.32. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about that. That is just insane. Now, when it comes to how he's training out of the water, you know, and let's talk about in the water training. You know, a lot of people ask me, you know, to make it to the Olympic level, to the world-class level, how often do you need to train? What kind of workouts do you need to be doing? And I mean, I watched in a recent interview where he talked about this. He trains in the pool 10 times per week. Out of the water, strength training 4 times per week on top of the 10 in the pool. And then he's doing Pilates once a week. He also talked about his flexibility, how he's able to do the splits without any flexibility specific training. So he's naturally very flexible. He has strength. And here's the craziest thing about it. When I was watching a few of the interviews that he did, he actually talked about how his strength training program is not at the level of intensity and volume as a lot of other programs, meaning he has a lot of volume in the pool and swimming. He's obviously doing a lot of sprint work, but he comes from more of a distance background. He used to swim the longer events, and now he's recently started to incorporate more strength work, more speed in the water. And so that's really exciting when you think about how fast he could be in the future, because there's so much room to improve, not just in doing more strength work in the water, but also in the weight room. He's training 15 times per week. And when you think about how Michael Phelps or Caleb Dressel are training into their later 20s, and Michael Phelps, even when he was 31 at the end of his competitive career, right? Noe Ponti is only 23 years old when I'm making this video. So he's able to go a 21.3 in the 50 fly, a 47.7 in the 100-meter butterfly, and he's even able to swim the 100 IM that we're seeing here. He's a world champion in all 3 of those in the short course meter pool. So what is he doing really well? I'll tell you, he's able to be extremely consistent in his underwater dolphin kicks while he's doing regular workouts. He said one of the things that they do is they'll train 1625s underwater with fins at the end of a workout. He also said they'll do things to experiment with the amplitude of his kick. And he talked about in his interviews how he doesn't have the biggest amplitude. You know, Jordan Crooks is a bigger amplitude, generates more power, he uses his hands. Noe Ponti has a more compact dolphin kick. And so I think when he adds more strength work, he's going to be even more explosive. He breathes every stroke because he can, and that's why he's able to charge home on every single 25 of every 100 that he swims. And he's been so consistent at how many strokes that he takes. So even if he doesn't count the dolphin kicks, I think maybe that's an opportunity for him to improve. I think at this level, a lot of the guys are counting the dolphin kicks, because if they don't, they're missing out on extra speed that they could have if they can push 1 or 2 more additional dolphin kicks. And that could be something that we see him do in the future. I also think it's really powerful that he trains for the individual medley. And this might be the secret sauce down the road if he continues to train for the 100 IM or 200 IM, because when you train all of the different strokes, even if you don't compete in them, it makes your feel of the water that much stronger. And when you think about the IM, right, you have to do, it's basically an underwater race. I mean, he spends even with the pullout. You're spending over 50% of the race underwater. So by doing the underwater work, training your body in different planes of motion, backstroke on your back, and then of course the breaststroke pullout, freestyle is the foundation of all of swimming. And so when you train all of these different ways and you put it together, that's how you make a really well-rounded swimmer, and you also develop a longer career in swimming. And I'm really excited about what the future holds for not just Noe Ponti, because I think he's a superstar from Switzerland and I do wish him the best and I want to see him get faster, but all swimmers who train for the individual medley. I think that's a secret sauce for a lot of swimmers. I want to hear what you guys think down below in the comments.